skilled inside work, not just brawling, but skilled inside work. There is a science to the inside work. Like if you watched Shakur Stevenson fought later that night, his inside work is, I love the science. It's some young fighters out here that's just, they're amazing. One of my favorite young fighters is Shakur Stevenson. You watch his last fight Saturday, you want to talk about inside work. It's beauty. So I'd like to see more things. You're a bigger guy. You're more athletic. You got power. Work on that inside, being able to finish people and not putting yourself in a vulnerable position. So those were things I wanted to see from him. I didn't. So I felt like perfection was a little bit strong. And then for you to say, hey, he's a prospect. So is he a prospect? Is it perfection? How are we judging him? Because if you tell me,
sorry, for who to say he's a prospect?
No, I'm saying in a way
just generally you mean. Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like he's only been doing it for 12 years. He still has to grow, which I agree with. I'll give him that time to grow. But then I don't want to hear, hey, he's elite. He's, this was perfection. This was great. Then it's like, well, which way are we going to do this? When I criticism, you tell me he's new to the game. Then when he does good, he's elite. It's like, what are we going to do here? Like, I feel like we need to be more even when judging him.
I will say that because I think you've made some real valid points there, Darnell, and I kind of do want to hear Tunde's response to what you just said. But I think one of the things what we haven't heard thus far is we haven't really heard that he's a prospect. What was mentioned was he has overachieved. Right. And you've got every right to say that isn't the case.
No, I agree with that.
Right. Okay. Now I'm just to keep it on track of what we've heard tonight, as opposed to you can bring in other viewpoints, but in terms of what this debate has been about so far, thus far tonight, we haven't really heard prospect as such, just that he's overachieved.
Okay, I mean let's just have this conversation flow. When Darnell finishes talking, by all means, Tunde, speak ahead. If you want to interject into something that he says, if he's willing to let you take the floor, then go ahead. You know what I mean? Let's get this conversation flowing. And likewise,
and I wanted to interject real quick.
You don't have to wait for him to completely stop.
I wanted to interject real quick. I'm not saying he's a prospect. He's being judged like a prospect.
Okay, yeah, no,
you're giving him certain. Okay, you're grading him on a curve as if he was a prospect.
I'm not judging him as a prospect because as soon as you get to a certain point, then there's no prospect talk. It's like you fight whoever. As soon as he became, British champion, then world champion, that's it. The opponents that you get, they're not going to treat you as if you're a prospect. So that isn't quite what I was saying. It's more the fact that, like David mentioned, he's overachieved in such a short amount of time, right? And the fact that he's, would I consider him elite? Not quite. If I'm being honest, he's world champion. He's got four of the, well, we count 3 of the major belts, the fourth one. But what I'm saying is that he has done what very few boxers have done, heavyweight boxers have done in such a short time, right? Going back to your point about Pulev, you can only fight what's put in front of you, and as a mandatory, you have to face him. And on top of that, Pulev is somebody who he's got very good grounding. He's despite him being 39 or 40 years old, he's still a boxer that you have to treat with a little bit of respect in terms of, okay, this is not somebody that you can just blast out of the water. He's durable. So, and AJ did what he needed to do. He put him away. I agree that he should have sparked the man out in the 3rd round. However, he's learned from his first fight with Ruiz. When he rushes in and he gets clipped on the side of the head, then he's going to start, moving like he's got the Holy Spirit in him. He's speaking tongues. He's gonna be all over the place. He's learned from that. So he just took a bit of time, stepped back a bit, and just went back to his jab. And this is somebody who's evolving. So on one hand, we can't say, okay, he hasn't jumped in, because the problem was he did jump in too quick and he got clipped for it. So now he's taken that on board. If he's got somebody hurt, he'll finish him. If they're not quite cooked yet, he'll back off and go back to what he was doing. That's just him evolving. That's just him being a boxer and just learning from his mistakes, and we can't fault him for that. I was in the earlier podcast. I said I wanted AJ to break his nose. He bust his lip quite badly, and I was quite happy with that. So we just need to. I judged him as a world-class fighter. Yeah, he's got a.
I mean, he is. He's heavyweight world champ. He is. That's world class. Period.
I kind of just wanted to interject and maybe reiterate some points that I maybe thought have been missed. Yeah, my issue with some of the criticism of AJ is. And after I speak on this, Darno, you can tell me what your thoughts are on it, yeah? But some of my issues with like the criticism of AJ is when AJ first kind of came onto the scene, we criticized him and said, he's got no head movement. We said he's stiff. We said he's robotic. We said he's put on too much weight. He's too muscly, yeah? We said that, he ain't got quick feet. It's like his feet are stuck in the sand, yeah? He only marches forward. He's just a powerhouse. That's it. Then he went up against Ruiz. And, we saw what happened in it, yeah, do you know what I mean? He rushed in, yeah, Ruiz counted him on the side of the head. That was all she wrote. It was downhill from there. After the Ruiz fight, AJ, he faced the public. He was in America as well. He went out in America. He faced the public. He didn't hide. You can see he clearly reflected on the fight, clearly reflected on some of the criticisms that was angled at him. From that, he's came back and he's actually tried to address some of the criticism. So now he actually lost weight. He moved around a lot more. He didn't just rush in. And sorry, another thing that I heard people say was that he wasn't defensively responsible. Yeah, so now he's tried to be more kind of defensive minded as well. He's tried to protect his chin. If your chin is weak, quote unquote weak, then are you not supposed to be protecting it? Are you not supposed to be cautious of a man who weighs like, 16 stone, 17 stone? Yeah, of a man that size trying to punch you in the chin, are you not supposed to be protecting your chin? So my thing is, if he had gone in say, the second Ruiz fight, and he tried to fight exactly the same way how he done in the first fight, then wouldn't the criticisms be that AJ hasn't learned nothing from that loss? So, I mean, I just want to know what your take is on what I've just said.
My thought on it is you could display those skills in the sweet science and still display aggression as well. You can be aggressive and defensively responsible at the same time. Now, maybe that's asking too much if, you're talking about a man that's only been doing it 12 years, but that's not really my specific critique of him. If you can fight a certain way and get a fighter out of there, you do it. You don't have to display things. Like if you display things when you don't need to, is that really showing that you're learning, I guess? Well, he needed to do that with Ruiz. He needed to, to somewhat dance around the ring and fight from the outside. But if you're, if I'm facing somebody that I can just maul, why would I waste my time doing these things just to show that I'm doing it? Or, do them when you have to. Not just don't do it just to do it. I don't feel like he was really ever in any danger to have to display the patience or display certain things that you say that he lacks. It was like, come on, man, get this dude out of there. Stop playing. So that was my opinion on it. Now, now I wasn't criticizing this this performance. I was not criticizing this performance. However, I wasn't that impressed by it either. It was like, okay, he handled business. That's cool. He's heavyweight champ. This is somebody he's athletically superior to. He should be able to get him out of here. But
what would you have graded the performance? What would you have graded it?
I say it.
If I said out of 10, out of 10,
I'm comfortable with a 7.5.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's not too far off from Tunde. Tunde said, I think Tunde said 8.
Yeah, I'm 7.
He didn't say perfection.
That was the only thing. That was the only thing I commented on.
Yeah.
It
was someone on Facebook that said that. Yeah.
That's what triggered me. I didn't just make a status like you would have thought I made a status like, man, this motherfucker's terrible. Get him out of here. That's not what happened. That's not what it was. I'm scrolling, minding my own business, and I see perfection. Wait a minute.
Do you know what? Yeah, I if I saw that post, I would have been like, "What?" Like he did great, but he did. It's not.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying. No. And I'm telling you, Lee's ass was dancing up. I was like, "Was it perfection, Lee?" He don't want to answer.
No. Okay, but okay.
I'm like, come on,
that's not true though. Hold on.
You act like I got on there like,
hold on.
Forget him and his muscles. I'll fuck him up. I don't want to hear that.
All right.
Like I was just hating. Like I'm just, oh man, AJ ain't shit.
No,
forget
it wasn't
him.
like that.
He's trash.
No, it wasn't like that.
Fury's gonna kill
like
him.
That, D.
Like,
nah, D. All right, listen to me. Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man.
It wasn't like that. What it was, right? This is what I. Sometimes when you're like talking via text or you know social media or whatever. Sometimes the context is lost on what you're saying. So I feel like maybe sometimes I was trying to like articulate certain things, but I thought like because you had certain kind of arguments with other people about this thing, and then it's that some maybe your arguments got a bit convoluted and kind of lost in the midst of all the other people who you was making separate points and that, and then there was other people who was trying to like come in and talk like they're talking from your from your standpoint, but they're saying things that you're not actually saying, and it's like I'm taking them on. So it just gets a little bit kind of confusing, kind of having that kind of conversation like that. Yeah. Now what I said to you was it was a post that you tagged me on. Yeah. Now I didn't say AJ was perfection. No. I didn't say that.
But that's why I tagged you because you're knowledgeable at boxing. We talk boxing. I wanted to just you to see.
Yeah.
This was perfection. That's all I wanted you to see.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you're like, you're always hating. I'm like, oh my God.
No, I'll be honest.
Here we
go. No, because what you said, I'll tell you why. Because you was like, like you UK big riders or something like that.
I didn't take it to Dick Riders.
What did you say?
I was respectful.
No, you didn't say
because I like you and Chico.
Nah, you as respectful as you could be. No, what did you say again? You said
I might have said
I can't remember something along those lines. Yeah, fanboyism. Sorry, that's what it was. Not Dick Riders. Fanboyism.
Fanboyism.
Yeah. So when you kind of come with that, I was like, all right, you're just hating, isn't it?
But I don't even think I called you that. I wasn't even talking to you.
Okay, that's how. Yeah, hey, listen, I caught the bullet.
How much time you call you a fanboy? I just wanted you to see we were having a conversation, like, and I think somebody got on there like, Fury's gonna kill him. Matter of fact, I think my man Dean Franco's homeboy.
Dean.
Okay, I think his post, he was talking about, Fury's gonna kill him. And I specifically said, no, I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that. I'm not on here saying all that. You're on your own, you start talking that. I'm just saying this is what I wanted to see from him. All this, Fury's gonna kill him. I'm like, no, he's athletic enough to if he fights with confidence and aggression, I think he can beat Fury.